Yurt. What's cracking? What's poppin', fam? What's cracking? Hey. Where's my comments? There you are. That's some good stuff. What's up, you guys? I'm gonna grab some water, let the countdown do its thing. I see you guys are here. Let me know who's here in the comments. I'll be right back. What's cracking? Good looking. We're gonna do some nerdy notability stuff. Be right back. Let me get some water. Be right back. Listening to the music. Chill out. We got 2 minutes. What do we do? Be right back. Yurt, Sammy! What's cracking? What happened here? Oh, I know what happened. Hey, guys. You like the Red Chair Diaries? Let me stop messing with you guys. What's cracking? Sammy Superstar. I don't know. Go do some things. Some things. Okay, Walk, how you feeling? How's it going? We gon' get it. We gon' get it. I was gonna say, is this gonna loop again? It's supposed to loop. It's like a delay. What's cracking, you guys? How are you guys? I switched my lights. See how they're kind of dancing to the music? So I caved and gave into. Paul says he's ready to figure out this 100-day planner. I caved and got the Goldie lights. The little I still have to exchange. I'm gonna use the LED lights behind one of the TVs or something. The Elgato strips. I just didn't like them there. And if you change the music, so this is a little bit more low key, like that. But check this out. So if we go a little bit more like, is it this one? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Those are the Goldie lights and it has music going. Kind of fun. Valerie! Hey, girl. Alright, let me stop messing around. We're gonna do some things. So that's what you have, K-Walk? Oh no, you have pneumonia? That sucks. Well, make sure, glad negative for flu and COVID. That is, I'm glad. That's for that. Glad that you are negative for the flu and COVID, but pneumonia can be just as bad. So please rest up. I know I don't need to tell you, but still, please rest up. Take it easy. Yeah. Freemium. I kind of gave it to Paul and Aubrey for free. I mean, I paid for it. It's like, I can send it to you. It's a PDF file. I paid for it. I paid its pennies on the dollar. I don't really care. You never get to talk to Valerie. Lies. Don't lie to us. I didn't put my headphones on because I wanted to test out. Oh, look, as I talk. Oh, that's interesting. That can be kind of distracting. Let me fix that. So I did want to test out the music settings. So let's get that out the way and let's just do a regular color scheme. They got some really cool stuff, but some stuff that I was like, well, this can be kind of distracting, right? Look at this. I mean, it's cool. But then you guys are going to be too busy looking at my lights instead of looking at me. But some of the stuff that they have is pretty cool. Like if you wanted to have it around like in a party or whatever. All right, let me stop messing with my lights because you guys came here for a reason. So let's just do some shangs. I guess I can leave it. I usually leave like an ocean scene. I have purple on. Do we have anything? We can do purple. And I'm still trying to mess with this. If anybody knows, if anybody can help me with the Govee, I think, so I love the scenes, but then I want to bring the brightness down on these scenes. Like that's like really bright. I just want to tone it down a little bit. So for now, how do I do color? I feel like an old lady. Did you see me kind of go like that? Apparently when you get older, listen to this. Apparently, when you get older, let me select all, blue. Okay. Well, let's do purple. Okay. And then I can bring the brightness up a little bit. But apparently when you get older, it's, what is it, nearsighted, farsightedness. When I got my vision test earlier late last year, she's like, how's your, whatever this is, nearsightedness? I don't know. She's like, but it gets worse when you get older. What? What do you mean it gets worse when you get older? And then I'm trying to like I do, I'll have my phone like here and I'm like, or Angie will show me something when we're together and she'll put my phone, not in my face, but she'll put my phone and I'm like, I like push the phone away or I'm like, I can't see that. That's too close. And then I'm like, oh man, am I really turning 40 this year? Like you saw the old lean stop, Louis. I met you. No. The things. Oh my goodness. You guys are funny. The galactic lights are pretty cool, but they're distracting, right? Like, come on. The lights on the stairs. So like this, I like, this is more of a me thing. And even if I wanted to have, like I said, as I mess around with the settings, let me go back. As I mess around with the settings and I figure out what I want to do, I definitely like, oh, look, they have Christmas, birthday, Valentine's Day. There's emotion, breathe. They're pretty cool. And that was what I wanted. I wanted more of a glow in the background instead of like what we saw with the other ones where it was the little red dots. The red dots, the LEDs are perfect if you have it behind a monitor. But now check this out. I want to get more. So these are and then we'll get into it. Squirrel. But these are the Govee wall lights, the glides. These are the Govee glides. Let me show you guys what I got going on over here. So these are the Govee glides. And so you can connect them. You can buy multiple boxes, make them as long as you want. You can get the little curve. I didn't use the curve here, but I did use all 6 pieces it came with. I actually needed 7 pieces for the full length of my staircase. However, you guys can't see the top. So if I buy more, I think I can use probably 2 more pieces if I buy more. However, because of the glow, now it makes me want to invest and get a whole nother kit and put it under the projector. So put it right along the bottom, on the sides, do the curves on the sides. And then I got to figure out the placement for that side right there. And that'll be pretty cool. So I got to work it out. All right. Anyway. How are you? Tech troublemaker, what's going on? How are you? Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing? What's cracking, fam? All right, so today we are going to go into notability. We are going to go over all of the nerdy things. I was trying to figure out the best scene, so I'm definitely going to need... They definitely would. They're mad bright, Gigi. Absolutely. I did buy these lights from IKEA because you guys know I have this thing here I wish I would know the proper name for it, but I got these this way. Yeah. I got these lights. They're like puck lights from IKEA, and they're very thin, very bright. These would work well as well. But you know how IKEA does. I bought 2 packs of these for 4 lights to run them along the back right here on this piece. If we just switch some cameras, let's do this. See my camera? There you are. I know it's a little blurry, guys, but like this here. So I'm going to put these puck lights right here because it's kind of like a cabinet, right? So put one right behind there, one over here, and just along so I can have, because you can see back here, it gets a little dark. So I got these. These would work really well under the cabinet. I like the way they looked in the store. They have them in black, silver, and white. Look, they have them in black, silver, and white. They're really thin. But IKEA, see, they didn't tell me, and I didn't look at this packaging, but you see this thing? Hold on. You see that says exclude? It excludes the damn power cord. So I got 2 packs of these, and they're like $10 or whatever. I was like, oh, that's a great price. That's a fantastic price. Let me invest. Let me get one of these. And when I went to take them out, I don't have a way to plug them in, so I got to make another darn trip to IKEA, but that's how you don't like them. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I should pay attention to the comments more quicker. Hey, Carlos, how are you doing? Yeah. But those would work well. You got to make sure you don't have any lips because they snap onto each other. So if there's a lip under the cabinet, then that might not work. But if the cabinet is all flush along the bottom, that would work really well. They sure did get me. I was upset. I was like ready to connect it and hide the wires and get a little bit of better lighting back over here. They got me. All right. I just saw that comment, Paul. I see you the very day when you let me out of the closet. Lights are nice. It's dark in here. You know what? I can't with you guys. All right. So what I was saying was I tried to prepare the scene as best as possible. I definitely will rely on your feedback. I hope you guys are watching from like a tablet or watching from a TV. I know Gigi be watching from a TV. Gigi's like a boss like that. A monitor. Because if you're watching from your phone, I love you guys. But this stream may be difficult for you to follow because some of the stuff might look really small. So I'm warning you guys. So I did prepare a scene. We're about to switch to it. We're going to go straight into it. I just want to move this around so I can make sure I look at you guys. Can I bring this over? Oh, I can. Perfect. So I don't need to move my camera too much. So let's put this here. Very good. And let's go over here this way. All right. And let me just come back so I can make sure I keep an eye on the comments. And wait, here we are. Is this the scene? Oh, I gotta come this way. Oh, I'm a dummy. Darn it. All right, so I'm going to rely on you guys. I forgot we were going to use the overhead camera as well. Nope. Yep. So I moved this out the way. Nope, it's not that one. It's this one here. Yes, okay. So I'll zoom in on the iPad itself as we go into specific things. But you see, and I'm going to hide this 63 days to go over here. So let me know and why it did look, I feel like now it didn't look as bad prior. So the problem is that the iPad, ratio, the dimensions are kind of weird for a camera overlay. But like I said, I will rely on you guys. Let me know what you think. So let's just get straight into it. I'll stop wasting time. I'll stop lollygagging around. All right, so this is notability. Oh, my scenes are all right. So you're not going to be able to see me, I don't think. Hold on, guys. I could have been better at this. You would think. You would think I would have been better. I thought I didn't fully think it through. I was trying, but I didn't fully think it through. So I appreciate your patience. Okay, so you're going to have to look at my side profile over here. Okay. All right. Let's see. So go over some of the quick basics. You have, obviously, your settings are your settings. That's a little gearbox within your settings. You have different things. See, it looks really tiny. I think, how does that look for you guys on the iPad overlay itself? Not the camera, but on the overlay. How does that look? I'm going to keep on going till you tell me. Thank you, Paul. So here in the settings, like I said, I'm just going to get straight into it. So here in the settings, you have your, okay, good. Thank you, Paul. All right. I just want to make sure that I don't want to start, like, I don't want to get straight into it. And then it's like, India, we can't see anything you're doing. We can't follow it. Okay. Let's move this so I can, okay, good. So under the document settings, that's probably where I spend the most time with the settings itself. Because with the document settings, you can do a few different things. You can, most importantly, is you can set the default template. So when I write my notes, my default template is a ruled. I usually get it thin enough so it's kind of similar to college ruled. Here you can set the default name under the default note title. I just leave this, but if you know that you want the note to be whatever it is, I don't even know. Okay, good. Thank you, K-Walk. I appreciate it. And what I'm going to do is, the intention is if kind of, right? So as we go in, that's what I wanted to do. So then you can see it real life. And then we can kind of go little by little. So I had planned on zooming in and out. Just go up a little bit where you can see it a little bit closer. All right. And now you can see both your camera view and then you can see the overlay itself. So the default note, I leave that the same, but these boxes here where it says include date and include the time, I check them. I think by default, it doesn't include the time. It just includes the date. And when I write my notes, I use this mostly for the bank with my customer files. It's important for me to capture I think that's just the OCD in me, honestly. But I like capturing the time of when I very first started that note. So I changed this to include the time. Then here under your edit for default template, Notability gives you a handful of default templates that you can select. So you have your plain paper, you have your ruled, your grid, your dots, and then they have these under education. So the different types of papers, they have some creative files and then some planning files. So like it comes with a default daily planner. So, and we can look at that, but you can also change each page as well. And I'll show you how to do that per page in the note. So if you know that you really like this daily planner, then you can set that as a default. And then down here, you have where it's going to be white, this ivory color, and then the default black with Notability. And I like using black. And you'll see I use highlighters. I use different color pens, ink for me to keep myself organized and on track. and I feel like it works best against a black template. So I leave the default colors for black. And if we just go back, so I'm going to leave this here, and you can see the same under your basic planners. You can choose the different colors for whatever worked for you. I think that's more of an aesthetic digital thing. This must be new, this little dot down here. So another thing that I will give as a caveat is I'm actually on a beta for Notability. I've been on a beta. You can get it through Test Flight, and you get all the features first. I've been on the beta for Notability for probably 2 years now. And it has been very rare that a beta that has been released has made it non-functional. I don't think that that's ever happened to me, maybe once in the last 2 years. So the betas are always really, really good, similar to our Ecamm betas. So some of the features that come on, if you don't see it and you have the regular Notability, that might be why, because I don't know what's what. But then you can see, if we go back to these colored templates, you can see that if I click on these dots again, you can even choose if you want the background to be like blue or like a gray, and just customize that even more. For now, we're going to leave this for black. I leave it ruled. Then you can see under these templates itself, you have these 3 dots. And so with the ruled, I actually, if we go back, highlight the ruled, then you have your grid spacing. So you guys know I have my iPad mini and the iPad Pro. The iPad mini, obviously, because it's such smaller screen real estate, I actually change the default template on the mini to grid spacing 4, where on the iPad Pro, because it's more like an actual size notebook, I leave the grid spacing 2. So depending on how you write, how big you write, how small you write, I would definitely recommend you getting messing around with customizing it according to your liking, so that it just looks neater and things like that, right? And K-Walk, thank you for asking. I did look at this a few weeks ago. Notability does not offer Notability does not offer affiliate links. You would think that they do, but they don't. I appreciate you. And message me so I can send a link. Anybody who wants the 100-day planner, message me and I'll just send you a PDF file. So, all right. Yes, my old eyes like to zoom in. Let me just check. I can see. Okay, right. Hey, Gabriel, what's cracking? How you doing today, brother? And because I'm going to be looking down mostly on the iPad, I won't be as active in the comments. So today, definitely, I will rely on Paul to hold you guys accountable. If there's questions, please use the Q colon today, because I'm sure that there will be a lot of questions, and I'm probably going to miss some of the stuff. So that'll help me get back to it. If there's anything that is not a question, or maybe I need to, if I need to address it, just put the question. But Paul, if you can help me out with that stuff, I'll appreciate you. All right. Paul says, interesting. I selected ruled and click set as default, but it doesn't change. Save. So you did right here, right? So we're looking, you did even, so if I change this to grid spacing, save as default, that didn't change. You see, like if we I'm going to do it again. So like take a look at when I come back here, I click on edit. I'm going to go back to my rule. And let's change this to, let's say 6, save as default. It's changing. Does that not happen? You might have to like back out, Paul. I'm going to give you the generic tech answer. Did you try restarting? Did you restart your computer? Did you turn it off and turn it back on again? Okay. So, and then the other thing here, you can choose how do you write. So you can choose your standard sizing. Nope, I always do letter. You can choose legal, letter optimized. The other thing that you can do is, depending on how you choose to use your iPad, you can set, is it in default portrait mode or in default landscape mode, right? So if I change this now to landscape, you can see that the templates and the paper now went to that default shape. So that's another thing that you want to, depending on your customization. I can definitely see, I actually need to change that, because I've noticed that when I write, it's easier for me to write neater on the iPad mini in landscape, but because of the size of the Pro. And so you'll see how I use it as we go into this today. I've always had the 11-inch Pro, the 10.9 when it started, like when the iPad Pro first came out. I always had that 11-inch size. And then 2 years ago, the version right before the M1, I decided to upgrade to the 12.9 because I was reading, I was doing research, and because of how I use it with mostly note-taking for the iPad. That is what I use this for 90% of the time. The iPad Pro, the 12.9, is almost the same exact size as an actual notebook. And so for portability, the 11-inch is ideal. But then when you are getting into using it mainly for note-taking, the recommendation was the 12.9. And having both for a good amount of time, I absolutely will agree with that. So if you're using the iPad for media consumption for reading, it's not heavy notes the way I do notes. So if I'm working from 9 to 5 in the bank, I'm probably taking notes for at least 5 to 6 hours. I'm on my iPad Pro taking notes for everything with the bank. So with as much time as I spend on it for a daily basis, 100%. So like college students, definitely like K-Walk, if you use your iPad at work all the time with writing notes and things like that, I definitely recommend the 12.9 for it. But if you're not using it that many hours in the day, then you'll get by with the 11-inch. All right, so let's go back to my portrait mode. So now here's one of the differences, and we'll show this a little bit further tomorrow with the templates itself between Good Notes and Notability. This is Notability. You see here, these are the default templates that they give you. You cannot bring in your own default template. So if you have a digital download, like a specific planner that you want to use or a specific sheet that you want to use all the time that let's say maybe you create, you cannot bring one in here. I have a workaround for that, which is a little cumbersome. It's, first world problems, little cumbersome, but with Good Notes, that's where Good Notes prevails over Notability, that in Good Notes, you can take whatever template you want and set that as a default. So if you buy a digital download on Etsy, there's tons of people that have digital PDFs for like $1 ranging up to like under $10. If you really like one of those, in Good Notes, you can set that as a default, where here it's kind of a workaround. All right, so let's go back. I spend a good amount of time there. I'm just going to go back to save as default. Here's another thing where you can have it scrolling seamless, or if you want to have it one page at a time. What else do I look at? When I'm looking at this, I always look at my themes. So with my themes, you see, so the default, I set this to dark. Sometimes I'll go between jet black and dark, but I just like the contrast of the dark. And then I kind of work my way into the templates after that. We were just in template. I don't use it for typing too much, but if you use it for typing, like K-Walk yesterday was talking about the text, handwriting to text feature. So if you are going to take advantage of that, which Notability also has, then you can customize that here. I've left this as a default. Handwriting, you definitely want to go in and take a look. If you're left-handed, you have to come into the handwriting mode and turn on left-handed so that your palm with the rejection and things like that, it works really well. What else? Gestures, that's new. And I don't know if it's been launched to the regular version or if it's new to the beta. So if you don't have gestures, then you know that that's a beta only thing, where it's pretty cool. So 2-finger tap to undo, 3-finger tap to redo, and then you can do swipes. So you can choose between the two. You can set your password so you can lock specific templates or lock specific sections. I have that here for my journal. So for my private journal, like a diary, back in the day, Dear Diary, and you'd have to lock it. Kind of the same thing. I have a password. It uses your Face ID. So that's where your password comes in. The sleep timer is pretty cool. If you're using it, because you can use this in lecture mode, in presentation mode, where you can connect this to your computer and then it shows up just as kind of like an additional screen and just show like the markups and stuff. So that's where you want to make sure that at that point, if you're using this for that type of instance, then you can do keep iPad awake. I'm going to use that now, although it should be fine, but I'm going to turn that on for now. If I come to a section, I start answering questions. Oh, sorry, guys. If I come to a section, I start answering questions, this will keep the iPad awake and I don't have to go back into turning NDI over on and off and stuff like that. So let me check on you guys over here, blah, blah, blah. Paul gave you guys the link. I need it for notes, especially as I'm visiting classrooms. Use Apple Notes now. Sometimes I like to send them directly to my teachers. So K-Walk, I have used this in circumstances where I take files for customers. You know, it's a live working document from the beginning of the mortgage application all the way to closing, right? So you'll see that as we go through it. And sometimes if I need to send them, let's say my income calculations, or if I want to send them notes, or if I want to send it to the underwriter or add it to the file, you can actually upload this as a PDF and share it that way. I absolutely love that feature. So we'll go over that. Hey, what's cracking, girl? How you doing? So Diana, you're here just at the right time. So maybe now I can convince you to use the iPad and Apple Pencil, because I know how much of a note taker you are. We are one and the same with that, but we are on opposite ends, where you love your notebooks, your physical notebooks and pens, and I am a digital lover. So maybe this will be the stream. All right. Appreciate you, Diana, coming through. Oh, look, there you go. I didn't even see your question, K-Walk, and I answered it for your question. Can you save notes as a PDF, and can you share and send notes? Also, I like to add photos to my notes as well. So what I'm going to do, K-Walk, I'm going to star that question. First of all, those were like 3 different questions in one. You cheated, but fine. I love you, so you get to cheat. Yes, halfway yes, and yes to your 3 different questions. And so the second question of sharing and sending and sharing notes, you can send notes via PDF very easily. But then with sharing, depending on sharing how you want to do it, kind of like if you want it to be a working document between multiple people, Good Notes also wins in that arena, because you can send a link where then multiple people can do live edits. Notability, and I don't know why Notability hasn't stepped up in that aspect yet, drives me crazy, because something like that for me and Angie with our podcast, I would love to be able to have the notes and share it with her, where she can go in and write her own notes, et cetera, et cetera. And we can't do that with Notability. So the only thing at that point would be if the teacher has Notability, they can import it, write notes, and then it's like it's a pain in the butt. So there is that. I knew. See, I was just, right. All right. So let's go back. Anything else here? Everything else is self-explanatory. The auto backup, you can do documents your own. Like, so if you use Google Drive or Dropbox or OneNote, anything like that, because I have, iCloud, and I subscribe to 4 terabytes. I have more than enough storage space on my iCloud. I also have like OneDrive and stuff. I don't turn any of those on because the syncing works perfectly with iCloud. I have my Notability on my MacBook, on my iPad mini, and on the iPad Pro, and they instantly sync. So I don't need to turn that on. But if you wanted to have the extra backup, then that's that option there. And so you can see here, you just want to make sure that if you don't have auto backup, then you absolutely need to make sure that you come in and choose iCloud syncing, because if not, then you'll be SOL if you don't do either. Don't do that. Do at least one of the 2. All right, so let's get out of our settings. And then this here is, so these are kind of some like new features that they bring in. So you can see there's like the themes are just, honestly, I've never used those themes. Those were like from the original Notability files. If we go into featured, so anytime, like usually what they've done is that they'll partner with someone to create a new annual journal or a planner or something, and they'll put that here. So you can see like spring planning. And so if you add it, then that'll be added to like your default template. So you can see that since I've used Notability, there were some stickers, some stuff that they gave away from free. So I always go into there. Let me see. So they have the different planners. So you can see you have your digital life planner. So let me add these. These must be new. I haven't checked this out in a while. So oh wait, let's go back to that pencil. And so what I did was, sorry guys, over here, that's what I'm clicking on. So I'm clicking on this little pencil. And when I click on this little pencil, that brings that screen up here with what we're looking at. So you see the planners. Like I said, you can add it. They have digital notebooks, different things. They have an academic planner. K-Walk, I don't know if you use that too much, those type of planners. I know that every planning company has their own variation of academic planners. I don't know if that's truly useful, but you can see that they have their own version of it. And then you have some other good stuff. Stickers, I don't use it. People who get into like serious planning and like that journaling, you can use stickers. I've tried it. It has not been a thing for me. But if that's your thing, then you can just have some stickers. Let me make sure I add some of these so I can show you at least how to use them. So we have the functional sticky notes, back to school basics, and I'll add a fun one, this science lab. All right. This worksheet section is also new. They look like coloring things. So listen, just give me the good stuff here. All right. So you can see now, check out some of this stuff. So let me zoom out a little bit. Okay. There you go. And I don't want you to read it, but you can see. So if I look over here on the top left corner, you have all notes. Under it, you have recent notes. You have your shared notes. You have unfiled. Clearly, I need to clean up. Oh, no. I have how many? 74. I don't even know how that happened. See, this happens to me a lot, that I just start filing. I just start writing notes, and then I have to go in and kind of do a purge and a cleanup. So now it's time. So check this out. Because I've been using Notability for so long, and you have to just take a look from the overlay in Ecamm, bringing in the screen itself, not of the camera. But I have 1,500 notes, 1,476 total notes. And that's between, and you can see now, if we're looking at the left-hand side of this app, you can see that I have my dividers. So I have my mortgage inquiries, my work, meeting notes, home, PDF templates. So that's the workaround of how you can get your own default template. I sit on one board. I used to sit on two boards. So these were specific board notes. And then when I was taking some classes, my school notes. So you can see as I tap into it, right? So if we go into mortgage inquiries, under mortgage inquiries itself, I have 639 notes. So if I open up and I collapse this mortgage inquiries, now I have a bunch of different subjects. And if we go and we look at the top, so let me zoom in a little bit so we can get a better look over here. So I'm going to click on this plus sign. And now here you see you have your subjects for group notes, and then you have your dividers. I don't know, the names with that kind of throw me off. I feel like it should be reversed. You guys tell me, is it that my thinking is backwards, or would you think of it in the same way? So these, well, I guess now. Yeah, okay. All right, so maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being complicated. So these are your dividers, and then within your dividers, you have your subjects, right? And then if we go even further, so under my mortgage inquiries, you see I have personal deals, web leads, branches. And then if we get down, I created, you can nest dividers within dividers. So because I work mainly with nonprofit agencies, housing agencies, I created an additional divider for my nonprofits itself because I wanted to further organize and further track which leads came from which nonprofit agency. So I just recently did that in the last year. That was a new feature they just added. Prior to this new feature, all of these files, right? So there's probably about 160 of them, 175 of them, right under 200 under nonprofits itself. So it was literally just a bunch of notes, right? So now, because I'm able to create this additional divider nested within my mortgage inquiries, I have almost every single nonprofit that I actively work with. So you can see, like this nonprofit, The American Dream, I have 27 notes, where the housing partnership 129, and then LRRC 139. And then if we go into it, right, under the American Dream, then on the right hand side, these are the clients, right? So then I know that this client, Alex, was a referral from the American Dream. So then that's how I go ahead. And if we go back to my unfiled notes, right? So my 74 of unorganized notes. Let me see this one here. I did two. So I was at a meeting today, right? So I was at a round table, an employee resource group for the chamber here. And these were notes that I took. So this is how normally I would organize myself. So I always will put on the very top, I just do a handwritten note of whatever that note is about, whether it's the customer name, whether it's a business meeting, just for myself. And I'm sure you guys have heard that when you're handwriting notes, it helps you keep a memory of it better, right? It gets more embedded in your brain instead of verbally saying things. So although I don't do tangible notebooks, I still do a really good job with remembering specifics of my client calculations or specifics of a meetings because I write handwritten notes. It's just not on an actual paper. And that helps me retain the information. So I can be redundant in some of these notes. And that's just for me to make sure that if someone says, hey, when we were at that chamber event 2 weeks ago, what was the section on X, Y, and Z? I can recall it and then have it here. So then what I'll do is, remember when we have first started, we were talking about the settings and the default name. So you can see here, then it's default note, April 12th, today at 9:19. So now I'm just going to highlight that. And as I highlight that, my keyboard comes up. You can delete it. And now I'm just going to basically just type in NJPCC E space EBRG roundtable. Right? So I got my name. Well, let's get that. If I can spell properly. All right. And that will drive me crazy. So let me make sure what happened here. Oh. Quick tip, guys. So did you know, if for those of you guys that use the iPad, if you are on the keyboard with the iPad, right? So the cursor right now is in between round and table. If you take two fingers and you drag like this along your keyboard, you can actually move it around like a mouse. I don't know if you knew that. Were you today years old when you figured that out? I love using that feature on my iPad. All right. So now I labeled it. Cool. That's the name of my note. What happened here? Let's get out. Nate is taken round table. Why is it taken? Oh, God. So for now, I'm just going to put a 1. Okay. So now that note is named. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse my mortgage inquiries. I'm going to go into work. And you can see I have not as many. What do I have for work? And we'll do miscellaneous. And then I also have meeting notes. So I'm actually going to put that under meeting notes, and I'm just going to drag and drop down into business miscellaneous. And now that added to my business miscellaneous. So my unfiled notes went from 73 to 74, right? So let's go back. Let's go back to what I was showing you with my mortgage inquiries over here. I have 3 C's. What's the 3 C's? Well, it was the New Jersey NJ Pride Chamber of Commerce. CCC. Yes? Unless I missed something. I don't know. Hey, Dwayne, thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. All right, so let's go back. Let's look at these notes on the left-hand side. So let me zoom out just a little bit so you can see, or zoom in. I want you to be able to see just enough. All right, cool. Perfect. So you can see I have my mortgage inquiries. I have my subjects over here. I created an additional divider of my nonprofits. These are all the separate nonprofits. And then realtors. So realtors, I started to organize myself. You can see it says realtors by name. What I'm supposed to do then is I don't work with a bunch of realtors, but I work with a handful of realtors that'll consistently give me deals, right? So I have my realtor who helped me buy this house. I have another realtor who's in South Jersey. I have 2 realtors in Northern New Jersey. So what I need to do, and we can do that now, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up to this plus, and I'm going to do a new subject, and it defaults to the top. And then that's this one here. And I'm just going to put Tammy Trotter. That's my realtor friend here in South Jersey. I'm done. Now let's click on edit. And if we click on edit, now you can see that each of these subjects as well as dividers also has a little settings. So I'm going to just click on the little settings next to Tammy's name. And what happened here? There you go. That showed up. And now you see a whole nother box popped up. You can choose the color of that divider. This is where you would lock the particular subject. So like I said, my journal, where I journal my private thoughts, that's a locked subject. So if I want to get into it, then I'll use my Face ID. If not, unless you have the password, you can't get into that particular subject. And for Tammy works for Keller Williams. Their logo is red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just highlight that red, close. And now you can see, and then I'm just going to hit, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold her name and drag it down all the way down under realtors. And you can see the line. So if you guys organize yourselves with, let me move this here. Move it down. Nope, wait, hold on. So press and hold it. Hey. Oh, I deleted it. Darn it. Let's try this one more time. So I deleted that. So let me zoom out a little bit because that's what happened. I was trying to show you. So let's come over here. I'm going to click on the plus. I'm going to do a new subject. I'm going to just add this really quick. Tammy Trotter. Okay, India, spell right. All right. And then I'm going to click on edit, click on the little gear, red, close, press and hold. Why is this not? Well, it was. There you go. That's what I was trying to show you. So if you look on the camera screen, you can see where it has a line. That's very similar right over here, right? There's a line next to it. That's very similar to like Ecamm. When you're moving your scenes or your overlays and you have the little line to show you where it's going to be nested into. So press and hold it. Bring this down. I want this under realtors. And so now you see that Tammy, now I have 2 realtor subjects under realtor. And so I'm just going to hit done. And I have, so I need to add another, Like this client here, Samara, was a referral from Tammy. And right, these are we in my unfiled? I think we're in my unfiled. So I got to go back. Oh, nuts. I just missed it. So I'm trying to, I don't know what happened to it, but I'm just going to pick up a random one. Crystal Hawthorne, bring this in into my subject for Tammy. And now it's separated it for Crystal there. All right. So again, you have, let's close these. All of the little triangles, I don't know what the name of that is, but those are your dividers. As you collapse them, you have your subjects, and then you can create multiple, you can nest dividers within one another to just further organize yourself, similar to how I just did, right? So like multiple realtors, multiple nonprofits, so on and so forth. So let me check in on you guys. Hey girl, hey, thanks for coming through. Pay no attention to the old man in the closet. It's okay. I'll beat you later, you know. Gretchen, thank you for checking in. Made it to the retreat, just unloaded the wine. I'm jealous. 14 women artists, lots of wine. That is going to be a good time. I cannot wait to hear about your experience. Okay. K-Walk says, with so much of your work, personal life in this app, how often do you back up? Great question. It does it for me automatically because I turn on the iCloud sync. So if we go back to the settings, right? So I clicked on the settings, the little gear on the bottom left-hand corner, iCloud syncing, it's on, and it'll tell you last iCloud sync at 7:49. So it synced literally almost, 8 minutes ago? 7 minutes ago, give or take. Whatever the math is, 7 minutes ago, just about, I think. So it's that's what I would recommend, leaving iCloud syncing on. And usually if I move from one device to another, the notes are pretty much there instantaneously. So I've never had any issues, even with upgrading. So like I brought the iPad mini back in December. As soon as I loaded up Notability, because my iCloud was already, defaulted onto the account on the device, it took a little bit because you see I have almost 1,500 notes. That took the initial loading of the app, took a little bit, but it was pretty much instantaneous. I didn't have to do anything because, with Apple, you log in with your iCloud, Notability links that instantly, and it just always for me. So today when I was at the chamber event, I only took the iPad mini because it's so much easier to carry and have at a table as opposed to having, this huge device. So I've been enjoying the iPad mini for when I'm going back out on the field and taking quick notes. But then you can see these were all the notes that I took today, right, in the employee roundtable. And so we're going to get into, you can see that's what I was saying with colors, with highlighting, with using lines and stuff like that. This is why I like the darker feature, the dark templates, because then all of this stuff stands out. And this is just kind of like things of the white font, the white text is just regular notes. And then the blue and the yellow and the red were things that it was either someone specific said or a specific panelist, or things that I wanted to remember, things that were really stood out to me, and how I organized myself there. What's going on, West Side? How you doing? So we are we're starting the digital note-taking journey. So showing you guys how I use Notability, or how I use my iPad, not just Notability, how I use the iPad with Apple Pencil, whether it's the mini, the Pro. I've been a digital note taker for years. So we're going over this week really my process of how I keep myself organized with digital note taking. And where I've really found my groove and my favorite app is Notability. That's what we're looking at today. And we're just going over Notability itself and the plethora of features and how I use it between organizing my notebooks, subjects, dividers, templates, fonts, all of that good stuff. All right, so let's go back to the main page here. And so I'm just looking at the settings. I want to make sure that, and so if we look at the top under edit, right there, we kind of went through that already. You can change the colors of each separate divider. You can change the order of what, you know, how the notes present itself there. On the very top left hand corner, you have done, you have a trash can. And then here, if we click this little plus next to it, well, we can't, you have to select something. Let me see, can I select this? I don't know what that plus is. So I'm selecting the first note. This is new. Oh, you can duplicate it. Oh, that's pretty cool. So then here, if you have, right, so like this 100 days, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'm going to nest the mortgage inquiries, and I'm going to go into my PDF templates. So under my PDF templates, and here I can probably now go in and purge and organize and create more subjects. So you can see, so check this out. So the green screen template, since we're on here, I'm going to hit done. Actually, nope. I'm going to go back into edit. I'm going to select this green screen template. I'm going to duplicate this. And now you can see it duplicated it for me on the top. So I have my green screen template down here. And then the very first one is green screen template copy. And so here's another cool thing. I'm sure you guys know this already, but I'm going to turn this into landscape mode. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my eCam camera settings. I'm going to turn on green screen. So check this out. So let's do, what am I doing? Live demo mode. So under the camera effects, drop down menu, the iPad shows up. Click on iPad, click on green screen. And now you see I have the background here, the big brick background. Those, you guys, if you know, you know. You can do transparent here, but I don't. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to oh, you can't see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the font a little bit bigger. So I clicked on the pencil on the top. I'm going to make this pencil this thick. I'm going to erase and probably right here. Oh, wait, get out of there. There you go. So I've seen Adrian use this a lot. I know that RK3, that's too thick. So let's go back. So like K-Walk, if you, depending on if you use your iPad to do presentations, K-Walk, I'm just picking on you today, so your ears are going to be going off. But if you use your iPad for presentations, now check this out. You can select the backdrop. And if you have your school's logo, well, you can bring that in as a backdrop. Or you can do white wall, and then I'm going to just change the font. So I'm selecting that with the lasso tool, click on it, style, and we're going to go into that. And then let's say I want to change this to now black so that it stands out, right? And so you can choose your backdrop here, depending on how you have it. Some people will bring this in transparent as an overlay and have it like over my head at some point, you know, like that. You can mess around with it. I just wanted, and then if we turn off live demo mode, so I'm going to turn off transparent. Hey, turn off transparent. Yeah. And then turn off live demo mode. And that's a really cool way to bring in an actual presentation. So you can see it's green, but then depending on the background and stuff like that. So all right, so let's go back. So I'm going to get out of this template, copy here. Let's put this back here for us to see so I can make sure you guys can kind of see everything. Well, I'm glad that you're here and you're awake for it as well. All right. So let's go into creating a note. So I showed you guys how to organize your notes through subjects and dividers. Do you guys hear my chair creaking? My new chair? I'm going to contact customer service. I'm not happy with certain things. And there's a really bad creak that has been driving me crazy. Anyway, so we went over organizing notes, setting your default settings, syncing, subjects, dividers, reorganizing. Now let's go into an actual note itself. So what I'm going to do is on the lower right-hand corner, and if I move my talking head to the middle, on the lower right-hand corner, you can see there's this pencil icon. So I'm just going to click on that pencil icon. And now you can see we are in the default note template settings that I have set. So the college ruled at 2. You can see it says note April 12th at 8:05 p.m. And now we have some things. So when I was talking about, you see here, it's just 2 pages down on the lower right-hand corner. If you want to make this bigger, you can actually write down here on the very bottom. I clicked on the magnifying glass, and let's go. Okay. So that if you want to write as neat as possible. So when you look at people, if you look at like college students that get super neat calculations and super neat notes, they actually use this magnifying glass a lot and write their notes this way and just, get it so that it's super neat and they just kind of keep going and dragging along the way. I do not use the magnifying glass. I just kind of write. Actually, I think that's kind of small. I don't have my glasses on, but I feel like it's kind of small. So now what I want to do is I'm going to, let's say I want to make from this paper itself, this template itself, I want to change this particular paper. So now within the individual note, you have this plus icon on the upper right-hand corner. So if we click on the plus, here, Kwalk, is where you have some options. You can add in pictures here from your photo library. You can take a new picture. So if you're at a meeting, you want to scan that document really quick. Like today, if I wanted to scan whatever was on the table or whatever the case may be, you can bring that in. You see, you can do an actual document scan. I don't want to do that. I do want to allow access. I'm going to hit cancel. Let's go back to this plus. You have your stickers. So what did we do? We did download some sticker packs earlier. So you can see these are all the sticker packs that I have. If we go to functional sticky notes, I'm just going to do this one here. You can favorite it if you like that. And we're going to add it. And you see here, and now added it in. You can drag this to make it as big or as small as you want. You can bring that here and then kind of line this up. And so now I'm going to use my black pencil and I don't know. I'm just going to do budget. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Right. And then blah, blah, blah. And write my notes there. So you have your stickers under the plus. Let's go back. You can add in GIFs. I was thinking what Paul told me, don't get peanut butter on your keyboard. So it's not GIF, it's GIFs. You can add in a web clip, and then there's actual stickies that they give you if you want to add like an additional sticky kind of that way. I don't want that. So some customization options over here with adding different things. If we click on the 3 dots next to the plus, here is where you can choose the setting of that paper itself, the template. So if we click on templates, now it takes us back here. So I feel like this sizing is too small for me. So I'm just going to go and change the spacing to 3. And so for this note, the template will stay at 2 as the default. But for this note, if we change the spacing, let's say I want to change the spacing to 4. Now I'm going to hit done. And now it increased the size for me. So So you see, you tap it, you have some options here. You can enable caption, you can disable text wrap. So if you want to type around it, you can do that. Cut, copy, cut, delete. I don't want that there, so I'm going to delete it. Okay. So let's see, what else do we have? So you have your templates. If you can view, so here where I like seamless, you can also do one page at a time. So you can just have that option of going from left to right instead of, if we go back to view, I like it on seamless. I just like to write just when I'm done. I like, because then as you get to the bottom of the page, it's just going to keep going for you. So I always leave it on seamless. Click on the three dots again. If there's specific info here, you see when it was created, when it was modified. If you have typed words, it'll show that there. So lots of great information. Let's go back to options, info, and then if you need help, it'll take you to the help page. So that's the three dots. So you have your plus, your menu options, and then you have your papers itself. So this is pretty cool, where if we open this up, now you can see within this particular note, I have 3 different pages. And so you can see, I don't know why these were like favorited, bookmarked. Oh, that's if you want to bookmark it. I don't want to bookmark it. So you can tap it. And if you tap it, this white bookmark changes to blue. So now this one page is bookmarked. So if we go to the bookmark, now that one page is bookmarked. I'm going to unbookmark it, but you can see each individual page has 3 dots. If I click on the 3 dots here, you can cut and paste the pages itself. You can add an additional page if you want. Here you can do the same thing. You can drag and drop and maneuver your pages that way. And let's go back. And then you can clear the page. You just have some options there with your stuff. Let's see. All right. So what do we got? GIF, like gift. Thank you. Don't be making fun of me. Are Cornell notes one of the options? Yes. K-Walk got all the questions tonight. Yes. Cornell notes, I believe I thought if we go back, let's go into templates. Education. Yep. Look, check this out. So under the education templates, if I change that, Cornell notes, now I'm just going to, and I'm going to do a black Cornell note so you can see that a little bit better. And then you have done. Paper size, change warning, continue. Yes. Okay. And then there you go. So that's the Cornell notes right there. Also, the features you are showing, I imagine, are all a part of the paid package. Not in, yeah, it's, so let's go back here. What was it? Stickies? I saw there's the ruler option somewhere. I don't even know where. Oh, right here. So the ruler option. So if we click on these 3 dots under view and you have ruler, check that out. That brings a ruler on screen. You can change the ruler. You can angle it. This is a beta option. And then they told me, they said if you stamp it twice, I don't know. It's something, I haven't used it, but I guess it can be pretty cool because now, like, is it like this? Yeah, check that out. Look at how cool is that. And then if I want to have like that, right? And, oh, I messed that up. So, and then, you know, okay, so this is India having lots of fun with that. And then, so this is a paid option. So let's get out of the ruler. And now you can see you have that there. So that's pretty cool with the ruler, but everything that I'm for the most part going into, unless I say specifically, those are pretty much a part of the actual package itself. The ruler is new, but like with what we went into, like the subjects, the dividers, the templates and things, that's all your standard stuff. All right. What else? So that's that with your, so we changed the template to Cornell, right? So that's for that particular one. Now let's take a look at the top row where you have your T, your pencil, highlighter, eraser, lasso tool. This is just if you want it to be touch only. So like that, the pencil, right? If you need to scroll and you don't want your pencil to go into it. And then here's if you're going to do presentation mode, that's what that is, where it goes into presentation mode and you connect it. Okay. So let's move this. This is my favorites box, what I'm moving here. So these are my most frequently used pens, pencils, tools, with highlighters, all that stuff. So the colors, you can see it'll snap either to that side, to that side, to the top, or to the bottom. So I always, by default, use I'll bring this to the middle of the page. By default, I'm always using the white pencil. Then I have a red pencil, a yellow pencil, a black pencil, or pen, whatever, blue. I have a thicker red pencil, the highlighter, and then gray. So those are my favorite customized ones. What's customized with this is not just the color. It's also, you can see I have the highlighter tool here, but then you can see I have two red ones, and that's because I have a regular red writing one, and then I use the thicker red one so if we go back to some of my notes, like here, I use the thicker red one with my follow up and to do to cross out once that's done. So that's what I use the thick red one for. And then you can see, right, I use it for my notes, the white. The red is to cross out the thick red. But then with the yellow font, I just put some specifics, like that was a phone call I made. So I just put notes of when I returned the phone call. So the to-do item was to contact the customer or circle back with the customer. And then I put in yellow font when I contacted that customer, because, you know, things can get a little iffy when you're dealing with customers, because they'll be like, you didn't call me. And I'll be like, yes, I called you at 2:49 p.m. on April 11th. Don't come for me. All right, let's go back for that default note. So you have your favorites here. You can always, I usually leave it on the top as a default so I can easily switch between the two. You can close it. If you close it, it shows up under the star on the bottom left-hand corner over here. So if I click on that, it brings it back up again, right? And then if we double click on the top where you have your pencil or your pen, your highlighter, if you click on it twice, it just gives you further customization. So you can see the thickness. These dots over here are the thickness of the pen itself. Then you can choose the specific color for the highlighters. All right, so they give you a good palette of colors if you want. And then you can also do kind of your own custom colors. You can type in the color code there, and then you can also go on the spectrum itself. So if you really like that and you want that color to be either a pencil font or a highlighter font, you can choose that. So I just did that custom color, and you can see that that was like a grayish color. So now check this out. What I also use is there's the press and hold snap feature. So let's say I'm going to write a note. And so I want this underlined. I want it underlined with a thicker red pencil, or I'm going to cross this out because this is done. So now it's the thicker red pencil, cross it out, and now it's snapped. It's a straight line. You can do the same thing with the highlighter feature. So you can see I kind of went messed up, right? But then it snapped it into place. So let me show you that again. So I'm going to kind of like, oh, it's not straight. Okay. But if I press and hold it, it snapped straight. If we do that one more time, okay, my hand, nervous hand, you can also manipulate your straight line that way. So you also don't need the ruler for that. You can see that you can make it shorter and longer that way. So I use that feature, the snap feature, a ton with my notes, with crossing out and with highlighting it to keep it clean. The same thing with underlining notes. They also have that feature with like your shapes. So it does do the shape recognition. You see it made it made a perfect circle for me. So let's go back, try that one more time. Sometimes it's not like spot on, depending on how you do the shape. If we do a square, you just can't let it go. So it has to be all in one stroke. And look at that. So the same thing with a triangle. See, that didn't work. And that might be that maybe that I didn't close it right. Yeah, that's not, I'm not, okay, maybe because, let me try this. I'm going to try maybe this way. There you go. Okay, so let me try the triangle one more time. So I started from the bottom, top, down, across, and that's kind of like an isosceles. Don't yell at me, K-Walk. Is that an isosceles? I don't know. It's a triangle. So that's really cool. You'll see a lot of students in high school, a lot of students in college, they'll take notes like that, where they'll use that snap feature. There's also a math recognition tool that it'll do the formulas for you. I haven't used that because I'm not in school. That is in, I think, a sticker in the settings. I don't know where to get to it, but they have, so you can write, and it's like complicated formulas. You can write in formulas and it'll do, I don't know if we should be telling K-Walk that, being that, you know. So, okay. Cool. So I'm glad you are finding it useful. What I will say to you guys, because how long have I been streaming for? I've been streaming for 1 hour and 15 minutes. I don't think we're going to get into, and I knew that, I don't think we're going to get into the dedicated templates today, Paul. Sorry, I hope I don't disappoint you. Probably going to get into it tomorrow because, like I said, there's so many features within Notability itself that I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to make sure that I did the overview of the app itself, and then we can go into the specific templates and how to use the templates, because learning how to really properly use the app with cutting and pasting notes and organizing and all of that good stuff will just help you really maximize the digital downloads, like the 100-day planner or any other type of templates that you're bringing in. So I will say that. I hope I don't disappoint you too much. All right, so I'm going to go into, and so the same thing with the Apple Pencil. So if we take a look right now, it's on the pencil thing. I'm going to just, with the Apple Pencil, double tap, and it does recognize that. So we can go in and just delete everything. It deletes the whole stroke, so I don't need to like color it. I can just kind of go like that. It deletes it. If we go back, right, if we click on the page itself, there's that option wherever it was to clear the whole page. So if I had a whole bunch of stuff here and I didn't want to, and I just, I can just click on the page itself, clear page. Oh, wait, what did I do? Clear page. There you go. And now the page is cleared. So there's that. So now let's go into, what do I use? The lasso tool is pretty cool. So if we go in, I'm going to go into one of my, so this was a note that I did yesterday, my follow-up and to-do list that I started, right? You can see I did the first half, I did the bottom half, but now this chunk in the middle, I didn't finish. I was in an all-day meeting today, so I also did not finish this. So now I need to bring this over into my to-do list for tomorrow. So how do I do that? I go into my lasso tool. I basically will just, not the pencil, the lasso tool, and you don't have to get it perfect. I'm going to just highlight that whole section, come around. It is fluid. Snap it together, and now it highlighted that whole section. So you can see the 3 little dots. I'm going to tap the screen anywhere, and now you can see that a box came up right here. I'm just going to move my head out the way. So this box came up. Let's look at this section here like this. And now this box that came up, you have your style, duplicate, you can cut, copy, convert, group, save, and delete. So the first thing I want to do is that I'm going to copy this because this is how I normally use this. I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to, you can do 2 things. You can click on this arrow up here and go back, or you can swipe over. This will show you your recent notes. And down at the bottom, you have create new note. So I'm going to hit on create new note. And then I'm going to tap the screen. You see there's 2 paste or paste image. I want to paste. And then all I do is just line this up so that the letters are kind of on the line again. And now I've brought over the remaining items from yesterday's to-do list into tomorrow's to-do list. So then everything that I start working on as of tomorrow will go on the bottom of this because I need to get these done. So then the way I do this to keep myself organized is that this is number 1. Those are subtasks. Number 2. So this kind of goes back to what I was telling you yesterday, how I use the iOS reminders app. So since I was out of the office today, if there were quick things that I needed to do, I would have put that in my reminders app. So when I'm working on my to-do list for the day, I have these from yesterday. So these are 6 items from yesterday's to-do list. And then if there was anything else that I had on my reminders app, I would start writing it from down that way. Okay, so that's one thing. I'm just going to cut this section here, this last section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring it down to a whole nother page. And let's zoom back in just a little bit. So let's zoom in this way. Tap the screen. So I'm going to paste because now I just want to work with this right here, right? So now you can see these options over here. Let's go into all of this stuff. So again, style. So what I'm going to do is under style here, if let's say you don't want that to be white, you want it to be red. So you can change the color of the font there, yellow, blue, whatever it is. So I want red. You can also change the size of your writing. So that's not going to work because you see it made it like look really blobby. So we don't want that, but that'll work. Like, let's say, where would that work well? If you highlighted it, you wanted the highlighter to be thicker as opposed to a little bit thinner, you can use that feature there. So that is the style option. That also works really well with typed text. We'll go into that next. Here you can see we duplicated it. So I clicked on duplicate, right? So now we have 2 of these. I'm just going to bring this way here. Okay. Cut, you know what cut does. You know what cut, copy, and paste does. Convert. So let's click on convert. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move this up a little bit further because I want it separate. So I'm going to tap on it again. I'm going to hit convert. And here, okay, so that's what I was saying. So there's the option for your math conversion. This is not a formula, so we're going to leave this, but I want to convert it to text. So before I convert it to text, I'm going to read this to you guys. Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing, boo? What's going on, Doc? Doc, you missed all the nerdy things. No way Convert reads that messy writing. So let's see. Whatever. My handwriting's not messy. Don't come for me. Okay, so what it says is, let me read it to you guys because let's see how well it works. It says, touch base with Trevor Chin to see if he's open to speaking with Veronica about our CRA A.E role. And it's duplicated on the bottom, so we're going to see what it is. So let's convert this. Let's see how well this works. Ooh, that's new. The conversion preview. Check this out. It did it. So it didn't keep the formatting, but it did everything. Touch base with Trevor. Oh, his last name. So his last name is not Kane. It's Chin, but that's okay. To see if he's open to speaking with Veronica about our CRA A.E. role. So let's convert it. That did a pretty good job, Doc. So it did it almost perfectly. But now, like I said, his last name isn't Kane. So this is cool because now this gives me an option to show you guys how to customize type text. So you see that worked really well. I'm actually really happy with that. But, and let me zoom out so we can look at this a little bit better. Here. Let's get this nice and tight. All right. Nope. Too much. Sorry. Don't kill me. All right. So remember when I was talking about the 2 fingers? So I want to go back in and I'm going to scroll over to Trevor, and that A, I'm just going to delete that to Chin. I'm going to go back to touch base. I'm going to capitalize that T. I'm not going to make this perfect because, you know, for sake of time, but okay, that's fine. So now here, so that's literally what it's supposed to say with the other, without minus the font formatting of our CRA, right? I can fix that later. So you have this little tab up here. You can move this around. If you want to make this smaller, kind of like that. So if you want to have it in a small thing that way, you can, or if you want to make it longer. So let's put this, I want to do this kind of like that there. Now you can see that there's even more on the screen up here. So let's zoom back into that. You have, let's look at this style. So I showed you guys how style works with handwriting mode. If we look at style for type to text, and what I'm going to do, now you can see it brought up my keyboard, and here I can change the font. I can change the font size. I can change the color, bold, italicize, underline. These ABCs are if I had favorite fonts and letterings. And then if we move over just a little bit, you have the alignment, the spacing between your lines, and then if you wanted to have it as bullets. So what I want to do is let's test out the font. You can install fonts here if you want. I love Avenir, so I'm going to do Avenir. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's resize this like that. Let's go back to style. I want to make that bold. I want to italicize that and underline it. I want to change that to white. If we bullet it, here you have your options, none, bulleted, number, circled, checklist. That's pretty cool. So it did do it, kind of. I'm going to, let's check that. What was it? 2 fingers to undo? Tap. Oh, that did that. I haven't tried that. That's the first time I've tried that feature with you guys. All right. So then you can square the corners, you can disable text wrap and disabled. So the text wrap is very similar to how it works in a Word document. So you should know how that works. Let's click on it again. Hold on. Cut, copy, delete, paper. What's the paper? Ooh, can you customize this even more? You can change the paper within that section. That's pretty cool. So if you want to make this an even more personal note, we go back to paper. I don't like that. Let's change that to a blue. Let's change that to gray. Not that gray. That's kind of annoying. I'm just going to leave this black. But, now that did a paper upon a paper. But we're just going to leave that there. So that is your options for that there. So that's your texting feature, right? Quick, so you can draw a quick text box. So I have it off because I never really use it. But let's say you want to create a text box. So I'm going to come down here. You can see I'm drawing the text box here. So now you can see I drew a text box and then I can just say test, and it kept the default font and all the settings that we just did. Let's say I want to actually do a checklist. So then I'm just going to do 1, if I can spell right, 2, I cannot spell, and you get the point. Okay. Let's say we want to, I changed my mind. I just want this to do numbered. I changed my mind. I want this to be bulleted. Oh, I changed my mind again. I just want this to be none. So there are some options with that. And then the same thing, you can move this around. And so you can see that this really gets super detailed with all of the notes. So we have that there. Convert is racist. Shut up. K-Walk says, evening meds are kicking in. Gotta go. This has been great. I can see me putting this to use in my daily works. Good. So I'm glad you find it useful. And K-Walk, I'm pretty much wrapping up. So you won't miss too much. And then tomorrow we're going to go over the notes. So thank you for hanging out and chilling out with us. And if you haven't messaged me already, message me so I can get you that template. So let's see. Okay. So actually the one thing that I'm going to want for K-Walk to come back and look at is this section here. So now let's say this is where we're talking about sending the note or sharing the note. Here in this upper left-hand corner, you have your up, very similar if you want to share something in iOS, right? So that's like your native. This is your undo. So you can do your double tap to undo. That's double tapping, right? When I was changing the settings, this down here. And then it was triple tap or double tap with 3 fingers to redo, I think. But if we go to the native share section, here you have some options. So you have your create a link where they can share. I use the share to file. So there is where I customize my section. So this is how I share the files. If let's say I was writing income and I wanted to share it with the customer, where I wanted to show them what their debt to income ratio was based off of this specific property taxes, this specific purchase price, and what the monthly, or so I actually use it a lot, not just with debt to income, but when I'm showing them a 30-year and a 15-year comparison, their pity payment with 15 years at X interest rate and 30 years at X interest rate. I will write all of that in a note, put it in a nice even grid, and then I share that file this way. I just choose PDF format. You can choose the pages. So if I only wanted to choose page number 2, I don't want them to have the other pages. You can select the pages that you want there. I didn't go over recordings. We'll go over recordings next. If there has a password, any of that stuff. And then if we want to preview what this looks like to them, you'll see that's what the preview looks like. And then you can hear share, and it goes into your default share. And then you can see that Angie, Gigi, Paul, and Evie are like my most contacted. And there's Doc, my most contacted people that show up. So you can, that's your standard sharing stuff from there. Creating your link. So here you can create a link where they can see it. So this is, like I said, where GoodNotes wins over Notability, because although you can create a link, it's not a live working document, kind of like how Google Docs works, right? Where if everybody's has that link, it's a live working doc and you can make edits and I see the edits instantaneous. GoodNotes has that feature, but Notability, you're just sharing the note itself, which is cool, but I'm like, no, I want to have it as a live working doc. And then the rest are obviously your email, print, so on and so forth. Okay. So then the last thing here is this microphone on the top middle, this mic right here. Students use this a lot in school. I've tried to use this in meetings. Depending on how quiet the room is and stuff like that, it may or may not work. But you see, I pressed it. And what this is that this is now recording the notes as I'm speaking. What's really cool is that, so basically in theory for a lecture, if you're taking notes and you're recording what the professor is saying and you are taking notes as the professor is speaking, I don't know how to spell professor, don't judge me, is speaking, right? ... So now I have 40 seconds worth of notes. If we come down here, 40 seconds worth of notes, I'm going to hit stop. If we click on this arrow, now you can see that we can play this back.
It may or may not work.
That sounds horrible.
What this is that this is now recording the notes as I'm speaking. What's really cool is that, so basically in theory for a lecture,
take a look at,
if you're taking notes and you're recording what the professor is saying and you are taking notes.
So look at the screen now.
The professor is speaking. I don't know how to spell professor. Don't judge me.
Okay.
Speaking.
So that's what I really wanted to show you guys. That is super cool, because as you're taking notes, if you wanted to go back and hear, so you can see, right, like the speaking part, it kind of unhighlighted, but as it got to that section in the audio file, it started to highlight it. So if you're looking at your notes and you didn't understand, like Doc was saying, you didn't understand what the hell you wrote or what the hell the professor was talking about, and you want to go back and listen to the audio file, that's a great way, whether it's business meetings, any types of meetings, that you want to have that recorded content and you're taking notes as you go and you want to go back and listen to it and see what you wrote to kind of match it up. I absolutely love that feature. But like I said, in a place like today, I was sitting all the way in the back of the room. The audio wasn't great. So you need to make sure that the audio's good enough where it will pick it up. You can hear it back. And if it works, you see how great it works. And I absolutely love that feature there. And it can be very, very, very useful. Let's see. I just want to go over this. So we pretty much went over, and if we look at it again, you have you can stop and start the recordings. You see, you can play it back 10, go back 10 seconds, go forward 10 seconds. You can change the speed of it there. You see, and you can edit the names of the recordings. So what would that change? So like in a meeting today where they had the keynote speaker, they had panelist speakers. So if I went and I just did different recordings and stopped and recorded each section, I can go back. If it were multiple recordings, I can edit it and then say keynote speaker, whichever the first keynote speaker was, and then panelist speakers, and label it. So if I want to just organize myself and do a deep dive of my audio notes, you can kind of use it that way. And then just some specifics. Look, amplifies voice recorded from a distance. Oh, so that's new. So that'd be interesting. I'm going to actually try that in the next meeting I go to see how well it works from an actual meeting perspective. But that is Notability in a nutshell. I'm just looking at these at the screen to make sure that I went over everything with you guys. Yeah, I think that we are good to go. I gave you guys a ton of information. So let me come back over this way. Well, 10 of you guys stood with me. So clearly you guys were hanging out. Do you have, and K-Walk had tons of comments, so I appreciate, or questions. And they were all really good questions. I believe I answered all of the questions that came up for her. Actually, this question, so let me go back. She asked, does it remember various versions of notes, kind of like Google Doc does? Like edit history, I think she's talking about. No, I don't think that it does. I've never seen that. So basically, once you edit it and you delete it, there's no version history that you can go back and change it to tomorrow. Let's say like, oh man, what was it that I said, if it's a live working doc. So like me, where I have usually a note and I go through that note for like 2 weeks or 2 months rather with a customer, I can't go back to when I first started and see the version history, the edited history. And that's why I don't write over notes. I just keep a live working document. And oh, there you go. Look, K-Walk, I thought you left. So did you see the recording feature and did you see the share to PDF? I'm glad that you stood and we're finishing up. I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad, Obs, you thought it was fantastic. Hey, Candy girl. What's going on? How are you? Candace, thank you for coming through. So I don't think you guys have any questions. K-Walk asked good questions. Thank you so much for being engaged. Tomorrow now, we will go over the actual different PDFs that I've downloaded. So we're going to go over the 100 days of planners. I'll show you how a digital download actually works with GoodNotes and Notability, where they do linking and you can go like from one tab to another and how you can take advantage of it. I'll show you how I use that 100 days planner to keep myself organized. We'll go over kind of, I also have a gratitude journal that that's how I journal in the morning. It's a gratitude planner. So we'll go over that. I'll show you that. And then maybe what I'll do is I will definitely have the links of the 2 different places I shop from. So I shop from Boss Planner and Passion Planner. They both offer different sets. So we'll go over their website. And then I'll try to have some links, direct links to the Etsy shops where I bought 1 or 2 different pages, digital downloads from the Etsy shops as well. So I guess if you guys are done, let's try the music again. Let me go to my phone. So I don't know what happened with the light. The light is pretty cool, but I didn't choose that. So let's go to my phone here. And let me see. So let's check this out. And we're going to do music. And now it's on music and it's hearing my voice. So we are going to do what we do and call it a night. So where are we? Today was, hey, did that come up? Oh, right here. Today was day 37. Let's go this way. Let's put this on. I don't know if I like that. Music mode, what is this? So there's 3 different types of music mode. Party, dynamic, and calm. So let's do calm. But that is a wrap. Day 37. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. I hope that you found this valuable. This was actually really good. I know I can go in and post some micro content today because you guys let me kind of get in the zone. So I'm excited for this week because I'm going to eventually go in and start pulling micro content and repost and stuff like that. And we will do this all over again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard with day 38. Today is day 37. 63 days to go. I appreciate you guys. I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, Obs. Yes, I'm going to go. What time is it? 8:45. It's late. Paul, you know how to reach me. K-Walk, I'll send you the links. I will catch you guys later. Peace out, y'all.